After the death of Kenneth Chamberlain Sr., who was shot and killed in his apartment when he accidentally set off his life alert, there was a case in Stony Point, a similar situation with a mentally ill person. And I wasn't shocked, but in the report, the supervisor said, we use great restraint to apprehend him. And he had like fake guns, right? So the difference in how they're policed, I'm never surprised when they treat white people differently. The terrorist that killed the people in the church was taken to a fast food restaurant, right? So white lives are always more valuable in law enforcement, and they show it through their actions.
One day, a white female is a victim of a robbery. Now, mind you, I had robberies where it was a string of African-American, mostly school teachers getting robbed in the morning. Do your best, you handle it. When a white female, now this is in the city of Newark, when a white female was a victim of a robbery, the lieutenant came to the office, ordered everyone to stop what they were doing and get outside and solve that crime right then. Mm-hmm. What's the difference? What's the difference? The woman who looked like me, believe I do the best you can. When you get a chance, handle it. But when that woman was robbed, it was a totally different situation.
Well, of course, I mentioned Burger King and what was his name? Dylan Ruth. You go into a church, you shoot people in the church, you kill people, and the police apprehend you, and you say you're hungry, and they take you to get something to eat. I can't even begin to process that. I don't understand it. And all it does is just take me back to a statement that I said earlier, that a black man has no rights by which a white person is bound to respect. That means our lives mean nothing at all. Under any circumstances are we to be respected. So when you look at a situation like that, you know that they'll say, oh, the system is broken. No. It's designed that way, okay? It's not broken, so we have to break it, destroy it, and fix it, and rebuild it, so it's not the same.
It's the same atmosphere as to how black and brown people are treated, period. The situation with the woman, instead of dealing with what she did, they now put out, oh, he had marijuana in his system. What that got to do with the fact you done shot an innocent man dead and you got to come up with a story? What that got to do? The same thing of any incident that happens out there. The first thing they do for black and brown people is bring up a record. Now, the record could have been 50 years ago. Media. They don't say this happened 50 years ago. They just said, oh, he's been arrested for robbery. They don't say 50 years ago. Oh, he's been arrested for drugs. They don't say 50 years ago. Mm-hmm. They always try to come up with whatever you did in your past to try to justify the present.
So what has to happen, the whole system has to be torn down, and it has to be rebuilt with policies. Now, Obama tried to do it with the 21st century policing model. Right, he made an honest effort. I'll give him that credit. But the problem was, it was a nice report, made nice suggestions, but it didn't have a bite. It didn't make law enforcement agencies do it. And then what they did was twist it, and they started doing dances, talking about it's 21st century, whatever videos they were doing, challenges. Well, that has nothing to do with what he was talking about here, but they twisted it around, but the government didn't have oversight to make sure that they followed those recommendations.
If you pull me over as an officer and you pull me over and you say, good evening, sir, my name is Officer so-and-so, the reason I stopped you was for whatever, can I please see your license and registration? Sure, officer, no problem. But if you pull me over and I ask you, well, why did you stop me? And your answer is shut the F up. you're going to get a different type of response from me. I would never tell anyone to challenge law enforcement in a situation like that because you're going to lose. And all they have to simply say is, I fear for my life, and you're shot in the car.
People must learn how to survive police confrontations and understand that every officer is not all there. You know, there's a lot of stress being in law enforcement. Law officers are being committed in New York State. Every week you turn around, they're committing suicides. So if they're committing suicides on this level, you don't know, that might be the guy that want to commit suicide might pull you over. So you have to treat them, you have to treat them with skills that you want to get home. So I think, you know, we need to learn how to deal with, and it's not being cowards. And I don't want people to think, oh man, he just saying that to be coward. No, I want you to get home. I want you to get home, because some of these officers shouldn't have badges. They're mentally unstable. And I'm saying that because when you deal with people on a daily basis for 15, 16 years, and you see murder scenes and all this, that has an effect on your psyche. So we need to understand that on who we dealing with. Get home, call your lawyer, call local NAACP, call organizations, and say, you know what, I feel like my rights have been violated. But you're home and you're alive.
It's not against cops. Literally, it's not. But when we say it as black and brown officers, the first thing white cops would think, oh, you trying to come on all cops. But it's not against cops. What to do when stopped by police helps cops on the street and helps individuals to identify a good cop versus the bad cop. To make sure that they don't stop and pull their car up in a dark area, because you don't know who you're dealing with, and neither does the cop.
Yes.
So it basically saves everybody. Now you know who to deal with. If you got a bad cop, we say don't argue with him, because that's law enforcement. Take proper notes of everything so you can report them if that's a bad cop. Keeps a good cop safe, because you don't want to pull up behind somebody in a dark area you can't see, you don't know who they are, and they come out blasting on you. So what to do when stopped by police is for everybody. Yeah. But it's a shame we have to teach ours that more so than any.
I think it's our duty as black law enforcement officers to continue to speak out and address these issues. And I hope that whoever's watching will call your mayor, call your local representatives, and get on this and ask them these right questions. And if they can't give you these questions, vote they behind out. Put somebody else in, because that's part of the problem.
So again, we have a big problem in the city of Newark, and I'm sure other police departments, where our numbers are dwindling. The number of African American police officers are beginning to decline. A lot of people complain about it. So what we did in Newark was we partnered with our mayor, New Jersey Institute of Technology, and what we did, we have a recruitment program. In our program right now, we have 250 people signed up for our recruitment program. And what we're trying to do is we're trying to create a pathway for them to successfully join us. We had an orientation program to explain to them the entire application process, the interview process, what you need to do to become a police officer. We have physical fitness training that we've been doing since June, I think, that we're working out, all volunteer, and we're having a free civil service class. So we're actually teaching people how to take the test so they can score well. After that, we're going to give them CPR training as well. So what we're doing is we're holding the hand of 250 people in our community, and we're going to do our best to bring them all, or as many as possible, onto this job so they can join organizations like this, and we can keep this action going forward.
I will share this with you. We are going into 8 years since my father has been killed. I have not mourned my father's death yet, because I have been running, I have been fighting ever since he was killed. This is the type of stuff that you have to deal with. So when I'm looking at this and I'm saying, okay, well, you won't do anything, I'll fight. And I'll continue to fight until I'm not able to do it anymore, until they tell me you've done all you can do. There's nothing more you can do. But I have not heard that yet. So I'll continue to fight.
That's why we have to continue to recruit. Yeah. We can't say today, we don't want you to do this job. No, we need you to do this job, because those of us who are retired need to be replaced. Those of you who are conscious enough and feel really strongly about how police treat communities like yours and mine, then you need to be the change you want to see in these institutions. And you need to join and do this.
And when you
And not let people change your attitude when you get here.